Hey, thanks for tuning in. So I will be talking about my favorite bookstores. This is just speaking to previous experience of having explored 30 plus bookstores within the city. Gotta say it was really fun, but these are just ones I really liked in particular. There's descriptions of all of these in the bottom, like doobly-doo description area, but I will be talking through just what I thought of them and just general impressions. So first one would be You and Me. For them, they are a bookstore in Chinatown, and for them, they are the first Asian American woman-owned bookstore within Chinatown, Manhattan. I really appreciate how they amplify Asian American voices and more indigenous people as a whole. They allow me to get a sense of different authors that I might not have thought about before, and just expose me to new narratives, new stories, and different things altogether. I appreciate all the work they do in being an ally to the Asian American community, in addition to hosting different events for community. Moving forward from that, I would like to talk about Bluestockings Cooperative Bookstore. For them, I really appreciate how they take it a step further in terms of being an advocate for people, also serving as a ground for more activism and more mutual aid in particular. For them, they are a worker-owned store. It's more of a collective in which the bookstore owners are able to better serve the community, also leverage their platform as a bookstore to help communities at large. What I mean by this is they are a huge advocate for helping out homeless in addition to other communities. For them, they are able to service the community by having a free store that provides hygiene items, food and beverage, and other materials that people might need otherwise. And I can really appreciate them for being able to support others who might be, say, in need of that and or seeking help otherwise. I also appreciate their wall in which they have a calendar view of different events that are up and coming, also just different flyers for different communities that want to voice different events they might have, in addition to promoting different initiatives that might be going on. Next one would be Mundos. I appreciated this bookstore when first stumbling upon it. I was more exploring Bushwick at the time and was doing my days in terms of just exploring more bookstores and doing a bit of a book crawl in particular. The staff were really warm and friendly in particular, and I can say that similar to You and Me, that they're huge advocates of supporting more indigenous people in addition to different voices who might not be as heard as much within the writing space, and how they are able to champion them and put them front and center in terms of who they support in their bookstore. Just want to say I can really appreciate just the books they have in store and how they celebrate different heritages within their bookstore. From books, also just different events and initiatives that they're spearheading actively. The follow-up one would be Books Are Magic. For this one, this was when I was initially exploring Carroll Gardens. Little did I know that this was a bookstore by Emma Straub. She's more of a romantic fiction type writer that I had read before. I didn't know that she had a bookstore actually. It was a pleasant surprise when I first came about it. I could appreciate their broad catalog in addition to their focus on fiction, nonfiction, and different selections altogether. I found that it had the most latest books in store, but also had it in terms of both breadth and depth in terms of their selection. McNally Jackson Bookstore. For this one, I would say similar to previous ones, that this one has a huge selection and does not falter when it comes to breadth and depth. I say this as someone who frequents the one in Nolita or north of Little Italy. And for this one, I really in particular enjoy just seeing how they have all these different books spread out in terms of more regional spaces, but they also have dedicated places for, say, like fiction, nonfiction, literature, but also to get more in-depth, just like rom-com, science fiction, politics, And even narrowing it down even further, they have specific ones to say like a food writing or just like people in performing arts who have like biographies. Like they are very specific in terms of the catalog they have. But in say literature alone, they have say 14,000 plus books when it comes down to it. For that, it's pretty much there is a huge breadth when it comes to different books they have, and I can easily find myself lost for hours within that bookstore. I'd say that these are just a handful of different bookstores I've been to till this point, but if you check the doobly-doo, there is a resource I built out that was more a fun project, but it gives a broad description about different bookstores I've been to, different operating hours, where they are based otherwise, and just a brief description about them overall. And the most important part, joking of course, is if they have a cafe where you can get like food and beverage and otherwise. But that's all I have for today. But thank you for your time, and as always, don't forget to be awesome.